Hello all you people out there in TV land. My name is CB Studios, also known as Kurt, and today we're taking a look at the brand new Trick or Treat Studios Don Post Glowin Ghoulies Skull Mask. Let's check it out. If you've been on my channel for any length of time, it's probably not a surprise that I'm a big fan of the movie Halloween 3 Season of the Witch. In fact, it's one of, if not my favorite horror movie. I absolutely love it. Soundtrack's impeccable. The vibe is just morbid. They murder some kids. That's... Tom Atkins is there, Stacey Nelkin. The whole movie is just a home run. And one of the things that the movie introduced me to was the Don Post Skull Mask. Now, I'm not going to go into the history of the Don Post Skull. In fact, there's a really good video online done by Rudy from the Crimson Ghost Mask Room. It's like an hour-long video of the history of the Don Post Skull and how it evolves and all that sort of bullshit. That's going to be thrown down in the description if you really want something super, super cool as a deep dive on these things. And like an awful lot of vintage masks and collector's items and things like that, I'm just not willing to pay what they're looking for a vintage Don Post Skull. Be it a 1967, be it a 1977, be it a 1983. I can't justify it. I don't want to do that. And so these guys were my next best options. This one I've had and I videoed on the channel before. This is a 2019 Don Post Skull. It's actually a Halloween 3 Season of the Witch latex skull mask from Trick or Treat Studios. Now, I have lost my little puck off the back. That's fallen off. Actually, while I was repainting this one, and this mask is made of latex. This has been modified slightly. It's actually been stippled with a glow-in-the-dark paint to better match a vintage skull. And unfortunately, that bad boy is rotting. The latex is breaking down. It's not long for this world. In fact, it's pretty stiff. It's pretty sturdy. I wouldn't wear it anymore, which is a shame because this is one of my favorite mask designs ever. And so, if you've watched my unboxing that I dropped earlier on in the week, my friend Matt, my good buddy Matt over in the United States, I mentioned to him that, hey, Trick or Treat Studios is coming out with this new Glowin Ghoulies Don Post Skull Mask. Keep an eye out at any of the Halloween stores you go to and see if you can find me one. And I shit you not, like 15 minutes later, he sends me a photo of his eBay purchase, and he goes, yeah, there'll be one in this box of stuff that I'm sending you. And that's this. Now, why am I so excited about this one? And why did I buy another mask that could just rot on me here in the Australian heat? Well, that's the neat thing, is since Trick or Treat Studios have bought the Don Post licensing, and we're going to get onto that towards the end of the video, they have done a reissue of the Don Post Skull. This isn't a Halloween 3 skull. This is the Don Post Skull that the Halloween 3 masks were, because they used Don Post masks, but it's still a Don Post mask, not a Halloween 3 mask, and weird licensing means that they can sell this as a Don Post one. Stick around for my little rant at the end of this on how licensing is just weird as hell. This is not a latex mask. This is a vinyl skull mask. Now, vinyl is a different material than latex. Obviously, they're called different things. Vinyl is polyvinyl chloride, or PVC, or vinyl. And the great thing about vinyl is it doesn't rot. Latex is a natural material. It's actually made from the sap of the rubber tree plant, or the latex tree plant. It's cut with a bunch of stuff, and it dries into, like, from a liquid into a rubber skin. Unfortunately, that does mean that any latex rubber masks, like some of my Freddy Kruegers up there, they will perish over time. You can keep them really, really well and keep all of the latex in really good nick, but it's still going to break down over time. This is essentially a plastic rubber. It won't. I was super excited when I saw that these were coming out because a vinyl skull, the old Don Post masks were vinyl. And fuck, I want a vinyl skull. That'd be rad. And so Matt grabbed me one. Onto this mask itself. This is cast in a really thick vinyl. In fact, it's 3 millimeters thick. It's considerable. And I'll show you the bottom edge of this at the end of the clip. We are slightly larger than the latex mask, as we can see there. There's a bit of a size difference, which is great. It's much, much heavier. This is cast in black vinyl as well, so it's pitch black and then has the color stippled on top. And we do have a plastic face shell underneath that helps hold the shape. Now, this is a very, very common thing in older vinyl masks. In fact, my Freddy up here, my Caesar Freddy from 1987, that still has the plastic shell inside, and it's meant to keep them in shape on display, as vinyl is a little bit susceptible to heat, where it can squish and it can warp. No doubt, if you're in the mask collecting world and you've tried to buy a Ghostface mask, you've seen a bunch of flattened ones from just being thrown into a storage box. That's kind of why. A little bit of a hairdryer treatment, just blowing a hairdryer over it until the vinyl heats up, and it tends to pop back into its original shape, which is amazing. This guy has the stippled paint job, as we can see, and it's lacking a little bit of detail compared to this guy. This one has a dingier paint job just from that, glow-in-the-dark stippling over the top. But I will probably go in with a sponge and just add some little bit more of an extreme shading job onto this, just to give it a little bit more of the look that I want. But I wanted to give you guys a look at how this goes before I do that. We do have our Don Post Studios copyright information on the back, which is beautiful. It does say 1967 to 2024 Don Post Studios Inc. So Trick or Treat Studios have added in the 2024 year on the back of that. Obviously, we're not a Halloween 3 skull, so we don't have our Silver Shamrock chip on that one. This guy did come with the Silver Shamrock chip, and if we look at the back on this one, we do have a big Halloween 3 licensing stamp on the back, and then they've erased the Don Post Studios markings on the back of that one as well. Before we go into my little rant, I will show you the tags. This was my original Halloween 3 skull tag. It does have a universal tag with Halloween 3 Season of the Witch, and we advertise the pumpkin, the skull, and the witch masks on that one there. We have our usual Trick or Treat Studios hang tag. This was all hanging from that side of the jaw. And we have our original pricing for the Halloween 3 skull, and this was from a toy store. I can't remember the name of the store. It's a toy store in Pasadena, owned by Wayne Toth, I think it was. Halloween Town, maybe. And I bought this when I was in Pasadena in 2019. And I paid $54.99 for it. Beautiful. Love that. The Glowin Ghoulies Skull comes with a giant header tag. It's really nice. It's bright green on a black background. It has our Don Post skull and the name Skull on it. And it says, Glowin Ghoulies glow-in-the-dark vinyl mask, Trick or Treat Studios, ages 14+. We've got a bunch of information on the back there. Don't wear it while driving, keep away from fire. There's some stuff in French. I don't read French. Developed by Justin Mabry, which basically just means that Justin Mabry has the license to do them. He didn't do any sculpting or anything on this one, not that I'm aware of. We've got our SKU. It's made in China, designed in the USA, and it says Trick or Treat Studios, based on the classic designs of Don Post Studios. Now, rant time. Licensing fucking sucks. Licensing sucks if you're into obscure movies and horror movies specifically, as a lot of them didn't have the sort of funding that they were looking for when they were trying to make the movies. That's all well and good, but the repercussions for that, for them selling licensing off to different studios, means that for things like the Evil Dead franchise or the Halloween franchise, different movies and their associated properties are owned by different companies. For the purposes of our argument, Halloween 2 and Halloween 3 are owned by Universal Studios. Hence, Universal, yeah, yay! The Halloween 3 masks were released by Trick or Treat Studios under the Halloween 3 licensing brand. They didn't own the rights to the Don Post Studios license back when they started releasing these. This is a design owned by Don Post, but this design in the Halloween 3 guise is owned by Universal Studios. So, they released them as Universal's Halloween 3 Season of the Witch masks. Trick or Treat Studios have bought out the dead license of Don Post Studios. The company went defunct in 2012, I think it was. And so, with buying that license, they own the rights to produce the designs, at least is my understanding of it. Which means that they can produce the exact same mask from the exact same molds without the Halloween 3 branding, without the silver shamrock tags on the back, without the Universal Studios copyright, and they own the rights to these masks and can produce them as such. It's very, very strange. They were making a killing off the Halloween 3. They were making a killing off the Halloween 3 masks under the Halloween 3 license. having the Don Post Studios license is a really good legal loophole for them to still sell the exact same masks. In fact, sell different variants of that mask without having to pay Universal for selling, you know, the Halloween 3 ones. And for fans, they're pretty much exactly the same. In fact, they're better. In my opinion, they're better, because it's much closer to what you would have bought back in 1983 if you went to a Halloween store, tried to get one. I got off topic. Moral of the story, this thing is absolutely beautiful. I am in love with this mask. I think it's a really good way for collectors like myself who maybe don't have the willingness to spend $500 on a mask, or maybe just don't have the financial means to add an original to their collection. Getting something like this that's going to be long-lasting, made with attention to detail, the attention to detail that the original masks had, and the enthusiasm and love for a brand that is a legacy brand as far as Halloween masks go, is just incredible. This thing's an exceptional addition to my collection, and I'm really, really happy to finally own a vinyl one. Thank you again, massive thank you to Matt for that. He's an absolute fucking superstar. I can't say enough good things about the man. And yeah, I guess you've heard me ramble on about fucking rubber skulls for long enough. I'm going to cut to some B-roll. I'm going to show you these in a bit of a comparison. I'm going to show you how this one glows, because everybody wants to see how this glows. And yeah, if I didn't touch on something that you wanted to know about this mask, please drop it in the comments below. If you enjoyed my random little rant and it was probably wrong on a bunch of stuff, let me know as well. That's really funny. I think that's hilarious. Feel free to subscribe. I've got a whole lot more content on this channel. Halloween masks, Michael Myers stuff, I think. I don't fucking remember. It's been a while since I've shot a Michael Myers thing. We've got some Halloween 3 content. We've got a bunch of Ghostface content. We got Lordy, we got Star Wars, we got Marvel, we got all the good toys. Other than that, guys, thank you very, very much for watching. Please hit like, and until next time, it's like fucking 9 months until Halloween. No, Keith.